Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. Breaking news, there has just been a magnitude 6.3 earthquake off the Kamchatka Peninsula as part of this ongoing earthquake swarm that was triggered by the magnitude 7.4 yesterday. This is July 20th. Today it's the 21st here in California where I'm reporting from. It's actually already the 22nd Universal Time. So this is at 01:58 Universal Time on the 22nd of July. And you'll notice this eastward drift of this aftershock, and this is telling a much bigger story than just, oh, we had another earthquake after a pretty big one, magnitude 7.4, biggest since May 2nd, 7.4 in the Drake Passage south of South America. We've also been having elevated activity of nearly the same caliber in Alaska. And so we see this 7.3, that was the first to go off. This is on the 16th of July. And then we see this 6.2 aftershock that was yesterday or today, depending on where you are, July 21st at 22:28 Universal Time. So nearly exactly a day ago now, I'm reporting on this 6.3 within about an hour of its rupture. And I've just been thinking about this a lot. And I've been making a lot of videos on this. If you haven't been able to, if you're new to the channel, there's been a lot that's been happening on the Earth, on the globe, because these two zones right here are literally spreading apart. And that is what these earthquakes are showing. And so I've been digesting this information. This isn't something that you can just encapsulate in a 3-minute soundbite, because there are some significant earth changes that are unfolding at this moment in time that are completely new and unique, as you would expect here on this planet. We don't just rehash and play out the same things over and over and over. There are new things unfolding. And so we have the earthquakes from Alaska moving off to the west, whereas here in Kamchatka, they are moving off to the east, or suppose that's east and this is west. And as a result, we're seeing this movement of the plate through this zone there. And there is not a mid-ocean ridge, at least known, in this spot. So geologically, you would look for some sort of rift valley, or like with the oceans, a mid-ocean ridge. We have one right here. This is Geophysical Ridge. This is right next to the magnetic pole in the northern hemisphere, a south magnetic pole or a negative polarity magnetic pole. In fact, we have this caldera here, 3,000 cubic kilometers of material was ejected from Geophysical supervolcano about 1.1 million years ago. So we know that there's massive forces at play in the Arctic. We've been having a rapid movement of this magnetic pole in the northern hemisphere over the past 30-40 years. And now this sort of earthquake activity, which is not magnitude 8 or magnitude 9, keep that in mind. We haven't had a magnitude 8 earthquake in 4 years, last one August 2021, but still very elevated, literally splitting apart. So in this video, we're just going to do a quick dive into that. And as we also do on the channel, we have cosmic connection meditations, or now what I'm calling collective dream weavings, because this is speaking to much more than just a geologic event. We are seeing this rift between North America and Eurasia, between the United States and Russia, and this is geologic in scale. We're seeing the magnetic pole move a lot. There's a multipolar world order that's developing, and it's literally being reflected in the geology of our times. So we are going to do what we can to help bridge this divide. Я говорю чуть-чуть по-русски, так, здравствуйте, человеки, если вы смотрите моя channel, здравствуйте, и я буду говорить чуть-чуть по-русски, но я начинаюсь, вы понимаете по-английски. Пожалуйста. So I'll be speaking mostly in English, but at the end when we do a collective dream weaving, I'll probably be speaking in a whole bunch of sounds, because we have the singing bowl here, we have the tuning forks here, and we will do a sound healing meditation together at the end in whatever language or vibration suits you. But just something to help bring harmony to the planet, the Earth. We all live within her reality bubble, and the universe is all around us. So we are going to connect to that at the end, transcend beyond all these earthly limits and also worries. So let's go straight to our USGS latest earthquakes map so we can see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's really clear. Once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, there's something really weird happening. And actually, before we even get to that, let me just show you this climate anomaly we have in the North Arctic. So the idea is that if the Arctic is warming, which it has been rapidly, twice as fast as the rest of the globe for decades, then that should cause expansion. This is like super basic physics. Every toddler should know this. And so we see this really big heat anomaly here in Siberia, fairly close to Kamchatka, and also that magnetic North Pole, or rather the magnetic pole in the northern hemisphere. This is about 18 centigrade. So this is many standard deviations above normal. Now, we've been getting these sort of anomalies in the Arctic for a while, and that's the whole point. We've been getting these sort of temperature anomalies in the Arctic for a long time. That's going to lead, you would think, eventually to some sort of geologic and seismic shifts, and that's what we're seeing. So let's go back to our USGS data, and this is our earthquake swarm in Russia. We see this 7.4 that ruptured. This is at 6:49 universal time on the 20th, and look at the aftershocks. This is the epicenter of the big quake where most of the energy was released, but look at how it traveled afterwards, going to the south-southwest. And if we click our aftershock that occurred today, there it is. So it's a little bit more central in that swarm, but it certainly moved south-southwest. And some of these earthquakes really reached out. So we have our scale bar there, and going from here to there, I mean, this might be difficult. This is probably about 90 kilometers or so. So we're seeing some significant movement of these earthquakes. That does not mean that the plates or these zones moved 90 kilometers apart. That's definitely not the case. We'd have GNSS receivers that would pick that up. That'd be crazy. But we see here are earthquakes in Alaska, and I actually can switch this to our 2.5 plus so we can see that swarm a little better. This is a weaker release of seismic energy. Russia's released more seismic energy in Kamchatka. They also have some active volcanoes that are like Sivich Luch. But here we have that 7.3 and everything moving there basically directly to the east. And we see our 6.2 actually occupying the outer perimeter of that. So that's showing motion going this way. So now let me zoom out. Now that we've looked at the specifics, all right, now we can zoom out and see this one's gone that way, that one's gone that way. That's implying some sort of motion in between the two. Where exactly is a good question. When I was originally looking at this, I was thinking right down the middle. But if you look here, you have this whole geologic feature. You have some of the remnant hotspot activity from Hawaii. We see Hawaii down there, and look at how it's connected to this. We see some significant earth shifts in the past. And we also see these like scorpion tails right here. We get this one, and it's actually even connected here. This looks like a proto-volcanic arc. So this is very interesting. But we have that, and then you can go up and effectively cut through this big feature here, which looks like some sort of remnant failed spreading center or something like that. So zooming out, we see this movement going like that, and then basically getting close to the North Pole of the planet. And we have seen this increase in the rotational speed of the Earth just in the past few months. Going from April to now, there's been this kind of jerk and increase in the rotational speed of the Earth. So there's some macro dynamics here that we're not even touching on, that we're not even aware of. We're just seeing some of the more observable effects, and that's why I wanted to show you with today's live stream. Just honestly, a pretty quick update on that. We are also seeing, if we look at our Schumann resonances here on the earthevolution.com/energy-analytics portal, this is taken out of Tomsk, Russia. So this is also Schumann resonances data from not too far away. This is 0 hertz up top, 40 hertz down below, all in UTC+7 local time. And if we look here at our Schumann resonances, these horizontal bands, they're Earth's naturally resonant energy frequencies. And usually there's some sort of Earth shift. They imprint their signal in the Schumann resonances. It may be subtle, but you can generally track everything back to the Schumann resonances, like solar cycles, like earthquakes, like climate, ocean temperature, lightning strike activity, the health of the global electric circuit, ionospheric disturbances, solar flares, geomagnetic storms. You get the idea. So here we see the Schumann resonances under fair weather conditions in the morning local time, and we see that these bands here were moderate in strength. They look normal. Look at the change here. Just in the past 8 hours, all these have probably doubled in amplitude, and they've definitely widened out in their frequency band. So a significant increase in the Schumann resonances under fair weather conditions is indicative of some increase in strength of Earth's heartbeat and the overall global electric circuit. And we are about to have a coronal hole high-speed stream hit us from the sun. So here we can look at that. This is SDO data, so provided by NASA, and we see this coronal hole transequatorial on the sun at this moment in time. They're known to trigger high magnitude earthquakes. In fact, we just had 3 high-speed streams hit us, and then we had the 7.4, the 7.3, all these magnitude 6s that have occurred afterwards. So that is a clear example of how coronal hole high-speed stream impacts can trigger earthquake activity on the globe. This one's about to give us another impact, and this time it's negative polarity, meaning that it connects to Earth's magnetic field better than the last one, which is positive polarity, and it's also transequatorial. So that high-speed stream of solar wind, which has an open magnetic field that connects out like this, it will directly hit the Earth, and they typically have a low density. And it seems that the low density, the low plasma density of the solar wind is the absolute key. Effectively, Earth is moving more into a vacuum. And everyone's seen what happens when you put a balloon in a vacuum. It just expands. That's effectively what's happening, but on a much, much, much slower scale, because Earth is not just totally air, it has a lot of solid mass to it. So it's getting hotter, warmer, solar energy has been feeding the Earth. There's something changing in the core. Maybe the georeactor of the core is really now heating up and goes through these starts and stops, and we just came out of a stop and now we're in a start. That's very possible. So we're seeing these changes, and now with this next coronal hole high-speed stream impact, we're going to get another wallop, or maybe even 2 of high-speed streams of low-density solar wind. So that vacuum is going to come back, and we could pull out something really big from that. We just had Gemini shift. We just had Uranus shift into Gemini. It's now approaching Sedna with a 1-degree orb. That will go exact on July 25th. Both of them loaded up with Earth energy. This is Western tropical astrology, and that signifies that they will release this in some way over the next really 12 months, 18 months, and for Sedna it's going to be years, because she entered into Taurus fixed Earth sign in 1965, when there was a conjunction between Pluto and also Uranus there in Virgo, together sextile Neptune, which is the same configuration we have now. In fact, let me pull up our planetary resonances, because this is pretty wild. And I've been talking about this a lot, but it bears repeating effectively, because it's, again, one of these playgrounds that every single time you interact with it, you're learning something new and basically getting insights into the universe and our solar system. So here we have the current planetary geometries, and we see right here, here we go. So we see Uranus there, Neptune, and also Pluto. You'll notice that Saturn and Neptune are about to go conjunct, a historic conjunction. Uranus and Neptune are exactly sextile right now, within 1 degree. Pluto and Neptune are exactly sextile within 1 degree. Saturn is in all these harmonic arrangements as well. And we have Mars about to swing in and form a kite formation with the Earth at the other pole. So very powerful planetary geometries. If we go back to 1965, so we just take Uranus here and grab it and move it, and we see eventually it reaches up with Pluto. This is 1965 right here. You'll notice that Neptune is still in this 60-degree arrangement to the two of them. So Uranus has moved forward. It's now in its opening trine with Pluto. That's what it's called. And Neptune is now holding the middle of the arrangement between the two of them. And this is 2025. Well, we maxed out. We have to drag Jupiter to get to 2025. We have to drag the Earth to get to 2025. Let's see. Let's get right to where we are. And actually, let's go to August 9th when this planetary geometry goes exact, as you can see right here. So this is a very significant planetary resonance that's speaking to change on this planet in the solar system on a millennial time scale. We're seeing elevated activity all across Japan. We know that there are Godzilla zones there where you have these massive seismic, volcanic, tsunami, pyroclastic flow events, basically apocalyptic events. Of course, anything at any time could come into our planet. We know that the Earth does these geophysical excursions or geomagnetic even reversals. Those are linked to significant changes, solar activity, super flares. All these things are possible. We discuss all of them on the channel because we don't know what direction things are going. We can only observe things as best as possible and use some of these most ancient of sciences to help us understand these changes to the best degree. So yeah, crazy planetary resonances right now that's helping to drive all this activity right now on the Earth. And we see this most recent uptick in seismic energy here with our global seismic activity level by volcano discovery. And so this is a 6.7 there in the Banda Sea, 7.3 Alaska, 7.4 in Russia. And in fact, that 7.4 also had 3 magnitude 6.6 earthquakes, a 6.0, and then we just had this most recent 6.3, also a 6.2 yesterday. But 3 magnitude 6.6 earthquakes. I want to show you that, and then I want to show you one last thing before we do our collective dream weaving, okay? So we can go up here to Russia, and we'll pull up our list, and look, 6.6, 6.6, 6.6. So 6.6s, basically, just a whole bunch of sixes from this earthquake swarm in Russia. Here's the thing. If we go to our real-time solar wind, we will notice that this coronal hole, which we just discussed, is coronal hole 66. So we have some very powerful numerology also active at this moment in time. So this is speaking to big significant Earth shifts because the number 6 is connected to Earth elements, connected to home, to family, also reality, sin, things of this nature. So we're seeing just a lot of this 6-6 energy at this moment in time. Expect there to be some wild events, and please be careful out there, folks. So that's why we're doing this collective dream weaving. Before we get to that, just look at these seismic waves traveling off of that magnitude 6.2 in Alaska. And so imagine that the entire Arctic is slowly heating up. And of course, there's changes unfolding as a result of that potential new split between the two. Look at how this energy then further perturbs the system as it radiates out. That's just one earthquake. We've had hundreds of earthquakes now between those two different swarms, pumping energy into the high Arctic and basically smacking into Gokul Ridge, Gokul supervolcano, and in that influx of energy from space weather, which is the magnetic pole in the northern hemisphere. Negative polarity, so it's inward flowing like this. Energy is coming in from outer space, and we're adding seismic waves on top of it right now. So really, really potent stuff. Let us do our collective dream weaving for a more peaceful and harmonious Earth, Earth that is coherent. This is our duty. I feel like to bring this in, not just to be passive recipients, but to be active co-creators with the cosmos, with God. We are made in the image of God. That is the truth. And so together we can determine our future and our reality. So please find a comfortable position and just start to regulate your breathing. But first feel it. Just big breath, prana, air, life, and let it out. And just relax. Feel your resonance with the earth. For we are from the earth, we are of the earth, we return to the earth. But we are also more than the earth. We are of the cosmos, all of creation. And just find some ease in your body. So much is being released right now. Where can you just feel good at this moment in time? New parts of ourselves are emerging. New parts of the earth are emerging. It can be challenging, encountering a new reality. But being one with this reality, truly present in the moment. And breathe and relax. There is a tension that exists between our people. Ja Amerikanec no muy prosta odin ljudi. Pod Bog. Under God, with God, co-creating with God, choosing our reality. Feel the resonance. One people. Odin Lubov. Muy jest Lubov. Muy jest Lubov. Prosta Lubov. Всё Lubov. Любовь и Божья. Slava Bog. Glory to God. Thank you to Mother Earth, to Father Sky, our protector of life, the sun. We give our thanks to all that has been given. We bestow our blessings upon all those that we've called in today, to everyone that's joined in on this collective dream weaving. There does not need to be a rift. Instead, we can be like this, one people, one love, as it's always been. We have strayed from the path. We ask for forgiveness. And we walk the path of truth and righteousness. Thank you everyone for joining in tonight. I hope you found this informational broadcast enlightening. I will keep you up to date on all these eccentric Earth changes that are unfolding at this moment in time. It's really a lot. We're really just scratching the surface. So I'm doing my absolute best to be on top of things. I release videos almost daily, just like you saw here, and more. So Again, I've been your host, Stefan Burns, wishing all of you well. Please take care of yourselves and extend a hand and a heart to others as you go out in your day by day. That's the only way this world is going to become a better place, is if we are just more open with ourselves, with each other, and the possibility of what exists. Thank you all so much. I'll see you all in the next video.